Welcome back to another installment of our voter education series as we continue to take you through everything you need to know about Milford's local election ballot. And we have two outstanding folks here from the town of Milford to be able to explain some big picture things about Milford's local election process. We have Amy and Danielle from the town clerk's office. Ladies, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Maybe a good thing to start with is maybe just a quick snapshot of the town clerk's office itself. I know that you both have a big job here in town, that you both do such an outstanding job tackling some really busy times of year. Could you just kind of give us a snapshot of what the day-to-day is like at the town clerk's office?
Sure. Well, as you know, we just finished the presidential election season, so we are all very glad that is over. Most of our other day-to-day operations are our vital records for the town: births, deaths, marriages, dog licensing, registering businesses for DBAs, meeting notices for the town, town meeting, those types of things.
Great. So we've had an opportunity. We'll be sharing a number of these installments with the folks in the community about specific offices in Milford and their key duties and responsibilities. But when it comes to the local election, it kind of all starts with the town clerk's office. So I'd love for you ladies, if you could, to kind of give us maybe what a resident needs to know if they happen to be out there and interested in running for office for the first time. What are some of the key things to know going into that process?
Key things to know is every January, so the first Monday in January, which for next year will be January 6th, our nomination papers become available for our annual town election, which for next year will be April 1st. So those will be available for any of the offices that are coming up for either re-election, or if there's any openings, or for town meeting. And you simply have to be a registered voter in the town of Milford to run for elected office, which means you'd have to be 18 years of age or older, a United States citizen, and a registered voter.
Excellent.
Yep. And when they come in to pull the papers, either for an open position, we go over the guidelines of what they need to do, how many signatures are requested, and a few more just in case we can't read the signature. Normal positions, other opening seats are 50 signatures, town meeting 30. And then with the town meeting interested parties, we give them lists of their precincts, streets, and addresses so they know who they can contact for possible signatures for their papers within their precinct if they're interested in the town meeting. So we give them as much information as they're going off to obtain signatures, if that's what they want.
I'm sure that's very helpful to be able to have that kind of information. And then we hear a lot about the pulling of nomination papers during that first part of the campaign season. So obviously that's the first step to come and talk to you folks, to be able to pull those papers, get the signatures, and then there's sort of a timetable involved with the nomination papers. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yes. We give. Generally, the state doesn't allow as much time as we allow. Usually there's only a 2-week window to be able to pull and return papers. We give ample amounts of time for people to be able to do so. So if someone decided to pull papers, we wouldn't need them back until February. So we give them a lot of time to be able to run around and get their signatures.
Great. And then in terms of campaigning, when should a candidate typically start campaigning? Do you have any sort of insight or advice about sort of the campaign aspect of running for a local office?
In my opinion, they really should wait until they actually physically pull their papers to start their campaign, or letting people know that they'd like to run for office or against a candidate. That doesn't always happen. Sometimes it happens closer to the end of maybe this year. People start thinking about January and thinking that they might want to run against somebody. But typically we try to wait till we physically have that, written acknowledgement that they do want to run for office before they take the leap and start running with it.
And a good note for all of our viewers out there, you may see a graphic pop up on your screen from time to time, just giving you an overview of the positions as you will see them on the 2025 ballot for the Milford local election. continuing to drill down a little bit on campaigning, are there rules about how to form a campaign committee? Could you maybe delve into that aspect of it a little bit more?
What we do is we generally give any of the candidates the information to be able to contact the Office of Campaign and Political Finance themselves. They are the best resources in order to get the most appropriate and up-to-date guidance for campaigning. Our biggest thing is we want to make sure that candidates are not having, if they have a committee, they aren't having other municipal employees as their treasurer. That's the biggest thing, because they're not able to collect money for them. So, but they would be able to get all that guidance from OCPF, and they're wonderful to work with.
In which we give them also information on not all their contacts of who they need to, the information on how to file, what forms they need to file, and when they need to turn those into the clerk's office if they do, have a committee and things like that. So we're giving all the candidates as much information as possible to accurately campaign. We do have them reach out to, campaign finance to guide them with the most up-to-date accurate, because things, easier for them to tell them is accurate rather than from us.
This is so enormously helpful to know. I'm sure that there are probably a lot of folks out there in the community who have an interest in running for an office, or have something that they're passionate about that they want to get more involved. But I'm guessing for a lot of folks, the idea of campaigning seems so foreign, and it may keep a lot of folks away from the process, just feeling like they wouldn't know how to navigate it. But to know that there are such great resources provided directly from the town clerk's office, or if not from you, certainly there are other state resources that exist that you make available to these individuals. It seems like the process is much more attainable than maybe it would appear from the outside.
Yep.
We try to make it as easy and accessible as possible. We want to make their decisions to make such a decision as easy as possible for them, and as painlessly as possible for them.
And so I guess we could kind of wrap up, and this is a question that I'll continue to pose to all of the individuals that we speak with. In your own personal opinions, why is it so important for folks to get involved at the local level in politics within their own community?
Well, in my opinion, as we again just have made it through a presidential election, people focus so much on how on the federal level it's going to affect you, but they sometimes forget on the town level what happens within your own town affects you even more. These are the people making decisions on your tax rate, on your livelihood, on your homes and your trash and your sewer and your water and those types of things that affect us day to day. And, not necessarily for the future, but every day.
Every day. And a lot of people, focus on those state elections. This year we had 2 primaries, a town and the state. It's very important, especially at the local level. The turnout average is about 11-12%, and we have 17% for the state level, which then allows, out of 19,000 registered voters in town and 30 some odd thousand residents total, essentially 2,000 voters making those decisions. So it's very important to get out on the local aspect, to vote and or be interested in running yourself.
It's so important to hear those numbers, and as we've covered elections here over the last several years in Milford, we've seen that that percentage of registered voters actually casting their ballot in the local election continue to drop down. So if you're out there in the community, so important to get involved in this process, whether you may be interested in running for a position yourself, but certainly getting more involved in the voting process as well, as again, so many critical decisions are made right here at the local level. Well, this has been such outstanding information to provide to the town, and again, we really appreciate all of the hard work that you both do for the community on a day in, day out basis. Amy, Danielle, thank you so much for taking the time to join us.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very much.